ilm an bashad ke jaan zinda kunad, mardra baki o payinda kunad. Knowledge is that one that makes you alive, gives you life, and mardra baki o payinda kunad makes the mankind eternal and everlasting. Now obviously that is the real true knowledge that one as a human being is capable of attaining. Okay, now I will get to the real depth of this particular verse later, but let me just quote these 3 verses from Maulana Jalaluddin Rumi on this subject, and three verses from Allama Iqbal, so that we at least have some kind of a background in Islamic spiritual poetry, because I do use this poetry from these spiritualist poets to really make my point and cover the subject matter. Here Maulana Jalaluddin Rumi says, ilm ra bar dil zani yare bawad, or ilm ra bar tan zani mare bawad. Second one is Jan jumla illat haye is jumla Jan jumla ilm ha inastoyi ke badani man kayam dar yawme din. I will have to repeat this because I think this is kind of a difficult one to say. Jan jumla ilm ha iast i ke badani man kayam dar yawme din. And the third one is ilm daryaist behaddo kinar ek talib ilmast ghawwase bahar. These are the 3 verses from Allama Rumi, and simply translated, ilm ra bar dil zani yare bawad. If you use your knowledge and apply it to your heart, then it's your friend. Ilm ra bar tan zani mare bawad. But if you use the knowledge on your body, physical body, then it becomes a snake. What he means is it really bites you again and again because it cannot answer the questions you have. So it keeps biting you. Who created this? God created this. Then who created God? And there is no answer that your science can give you, your knowledge can give you. So it keeps ilm of the worldly knowledge is continuously struggling to keep you asking more and more questions because there is no end to it and it's not final. But if you use your heart, then that knowledge becomes your friend because it gives you peace, gives you knowledge, and gives you the real basics of that knowledge which you cannot even deny. Okay, the second verse was Jan jumla ilm hai astad. He said your life Jan jumla ilm ha, of all the real basis of all the knowledge is only this. Jan jumla ilm ha inast the spirit of all the knowledge is just this. Ke badani man kayam dar yawmedi, so that I will know who I am on the day of judgment. In other words, on the day of judgment, if I know who I was and what did I do, that is the essence of all kind of knowledge. So in Rumi's mind, the only knowledge that really counts is tells you that why were you born and what was the purpose of your life and how were you supposed to really enliven yourself by making your heart very bright and connect to the light of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and then become knowledgeable. And the third one is ilm daryaist behaddo kanar. Knowledge is a ocean without any boundaries. Talib ilmast ghawwase bahar. And the student of knowledge, seeker of knowledge, is the one who actually dives down again and again into different kinds of oceans to get more and more knowledge. So here the invitation is to dive down and get more and more knowledge, because there is no end or no limit to the knowledge that you can get. Even then you will only get a certain amount of knowledge, because the knowledge, total body of knowledge with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is immense and one cannot even imagine how much that is. So this was Maulana Jalaluddin Rumi. Now let's go to Allama Iqbal. He says, अक्ल गो आस्तां से दूर नहीं, इसकी तकदीर में हुजूर नहीं, इल्म में भी सरूर है लेकिन ये वो जन्नत है जिसमें हूर नहीं. It's beautiful. He say, عقل گو آستان سے دور نہیں. Although your brain, your knowledge and your intellect is not far away from that house, the house where the knowledge is, where the real reality is living. इसकी तकदीर में हुजूर नहीं. It's not really cut out. It's not blessed with the power that it can go face to face. हुजूर means face to face with somebody. किसी की हुजूर में होने का मतलब ये होता है कि you are actually seeing that person, you are in their company. So अकल गो आस्तान से दूर नहीं. Although the knowledge or your intellect is not far away from the house of truth, it's not destined to be face to face with the truth. इल्म में भी सरूर है लेकिन ये वो जन्नत है जिसमें हूर नहीं. इसे although you enjoy learning and it really gives you some kind of an enjoyment, ये वो जन्नत है जिसमें हूर नहीं. This is a paradise that has no living beings that please you. The hur he's using here is a kind of as a parable, that there is not much there to see because ilm is such a dry thing for you to have. It does not give you that face-to-face thing with the reality. You don't actually enjoy because it's constantly struggling you to get more. It's never complete. So that's the first one. Second one is ilm में दौलत भी है, कुदरत भी है, लज्जत भी है. एक मुश्किल है कि हाथ आता नहीं अपना सुराग. ऐसा इल्म में दौलत भी है, कुदरत भी है, लज्जत भी है. In the knowledge there is enough of wealth, enough of power and enough of enjoyment. There is one difficulty that you cannot find you cannot learn the secret about yourself. You don't really know who you are because it does not give you that kind of an information. You are not really learning about your identity. It gives you information about your surroundings, whatever it gets from 5 senses that it has. And the final one, the third one from Iqbal is ilm hai ibnul kitab, ishq hai ummul kitab. Ilm hai ibnul kitab, ishq hai ummul kitab. Ilm hai paida sawal, ishq hai pinhan jawab. So ilm hai ibnul kitab means knowledge is the son of the book. Ishq hai ummul kitab. Ishq is the one that is giving birth to this book. In other words, ishq is the mother of this book. Ilm hai paida sawal. Knowledge is actually questions and questions and questions. Apparent question is what knowledge is all about. Ishq hai pinhan jawab. But love or passion or true love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that is a hidden answer for all of this. I don't think I need that slide, Ahmed, if you want to take that away. So basically these were the three verses of Iqbal in which he talks about how ilm compares to ishq. But again, they are all these 6 verses that I have recited, 3 from Maulana Jalaluddin Rumi and 3 from Iqbal, are basically saying that ilm basically is empty because it cannot really bring you face to face to the truth. Now, if I was to touch upon a little background on this, to make it simple, there is a ilm that we have, that we acquire from our surroundings, from our 5 senses. And there is the ilm that is given to us. Ilm that is given to us comes from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and the 2 simple examples of that, one is the divine revelation that come to the messengers of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and one is ilham that comes to his chosen people, that they get guidance from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, although they are not messengers and they don't have much other knowledge other than what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives them. Allah gives that particular knowledge to some people when He wants certain things done by them, and they have that particular information and use that, and they get the job done. Just like Khidr al-Islam, the story everybody knows, whenever he has to do something, he basically is ordered by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and he's given that particular information as to what he has to do, how he has to do it, and he does it, and he helps his creation. Khidr is just a symbolic example I gave. There are others in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's kingdom, his chosen people, that do his work in this universe, and they are doing it today as they did it 100 years ago and 1,000 years ago and earlier than that also. So all of that, we have to put that in the back of our mind, that that is possible. That's number one. So there is one ilm that is about this world that we see, and there is al-mazahir, and there's the other ilm, that ilm-e-batin. We cannot deny there are angels, there are jinns around here today also, and other makhluk that we cannot see, but they are around us, and they have a life also. So there is knowledge about them that we may not have, but but they do, and there are others that probably do have that knowledge. So we cannot deny ilm-e-batin, and that once you have that understanding, then you realize how minuscule we human beings are. Just imagine a computer that was present 20 years ago or 10 years ago that didn't have any memory. Now the computers have certain megabytes and kilobyte memories, and God knows what memories banks they will have few years from today. So humans also evolved, and we did also try to understand our universe and try to understand ourselves. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has been choosing people that He uses to serve His creation, and He has been giving them the knowledge to do what they have to do. Now, if you have seen the story of Yusuf alayhi salam, I learned a lot from that, because there was a drama series the Turks made that is translated in Urdu and English and many other languages also, that talks about Prophet Joseph, when he was thrown in the well by his brothers and then taken out by some travelers, and then was sold in the bazaar of Egypt, and then he became the minister, and of course then he invited his parents to come and see him when he was 40 years old, and he announced his prophethood. Along the way, he was getting messages from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala constantly, directions, that he could do this and he could do that, and not call his father, not let them know that he's still alive, not let them know that he's doing so and so things in Egypt. All of that was coming to him, although he had not declared his prophethood yet. The point I am making is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does have a way of communicating His chosen people, and they are sometimes under restrictions not to reveal their identity until they have to. So all of that is going on alongside this zahiri dunya that we have. In the